It doesn't even feel like Star Trek.
No, it doesn't.
I just wish, yes, Jonathan Frakes, he helped direct, and honestly, those shows that the episodes he's directed, at least kind of feel like Star Trek.
Yeah, they were better than the average Discovery episode, but they were still...
Well, I don't think
he was still having to contend with the shit writing and the horrible bridge and everything like that.
I don't think Jonathan Frakes ever wrote. I think he directed several episodes of Berman-era Trek, but I don't think he ever wrote anything.
I believe you're correct.
I don't know why they don't grab some of the older writers. But I don't know. If they show up, are they going to do like they did to Walter Mosely? They're going to give you some feedback on what you're doing, and you're not going to like what they say, and you're going to get them kicked off the staff. I mean, is it going to work like that?
My biggest fear, and this is going into a different show, but just bear with me for a minute. If anybody has watched For All Mankind, it's on Apple Plus. I pay attention to who writes what episode because I find it interesting to see what voice they bring to the story and what direction they take the characters.
Well, I guess just to make sure we're on the same page, the audience. So For All Mankind is a series that it goes back to the 1960s when we were going to land on the moon. And what happens is the Soviets beat us, and then they put the first woman on the moon after them.
It's an alternate history show.
Correct. And so then the show itself talks about the American program trying to expedite our space program and get more women in the program so we can keep up with the Soviets as far as PR.
Yes.
When I first started watching it, I thought it was just going to be I want to be politically careful
I'll just say
this.
it. You were afraid it was going to be a woke mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was too.
And outside of some of the episodes, and that's the one I think that Molly's talking about here, the ones that she's saying keep an eye on the writers that weren't the people that she's going to probably talk about here in a second, it wasn't woke. It was actually interesting, and they did it in a way that, hey, this is actually interesting.
Yeah, however, in my mind, 2 not-so-good episodes stand out, and the reason that they stand out is because in those episodes, the male characters were behaving uncharacteristically sexist in a way that was inconsistent with the behavior of the character in previous episodes and in episodes that came after. The interesting thing was the 2 people who wrote those episodes. And those were people whose names I knew already from watching science fiction. One of them being Naren Shankar, if that's how you pronounce that, I hope so. That was disappointing.
And that's the guy who you would know him best as he's the TV series The Expanse. He's the executive producer.
And the other one
was Ronald D. Moore.
Yes, it was.
From a little bit of Star Trek, but you'd mostly know him from the rebooted Battlestar Galactica of the early 2000s.
Yeah. What that leads me to believe, and this is what I'm afraid of, that there are older writers out there, because both those guys have been around for a while.
Yeah, because I think Shankar wrote for, like, Sequest back in the 90s.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So again, been there for a while. My fear is that these guys are going over the top, overcompensating, writing characters, male characters in particular, to be overly sexist in order to try to keep with the perceived writing style or cultural view of entertainment right now. That they overcompensated to try to stay relevant when they're older males in what is turning out to be more and more a younger person's field.
Well, it came across, the analogy I would use is like some middle-aged dude who got himself a sports car. So the way they wrote these shows was to try to come across like stuff's being written in multiple shows, especially like on the CW, if you know what I'm talking about. They were writing these episodes like it was a CW show. Flash or Supergirl or something, the later season. And I'm sure if you people have watched those shows in the later seasons, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is that makes me concerned because, now when I see an older writer's name on something, I worry that what they're doing is trying to be popular rather than writing to the best of their ability. Because why don't we take a look at Alex Kurtzman here for a second? Because I am perplexed. I mean, I am genuinely... I don't even know how to try to reconcile this, but He is one of the people who's responsible for one of my favorite shows. And he's also responsible for one of my least favorite shows. I do not know how the series Jack of All Trades that starred Bruce Campbell.
That was from the 2000s.
Yeah, I believe it was actually from 2000. So it was, we'll say 21 years ago. And it was a rather raunchy show. There were a lot of sexual jokes. Napoleon Bonaparte was a character on the show. He was played by Vern Troyer, and if you don't know who Vern Troyer is, he is a little person, if that's even the proper term to be using these days. And he played Napoleon, and they were...
You know him from Austin Powers. He played Mini-Me.
He played Mini-Me in Austin Powers, which was actually earlier than that, I believe.
90s.
Yeah. So obviously they were making fun of Napoleon's height. And this was Alex Kurtzman. He was an executive producer on this show, and he even wrote some of the episodes. So I don't understand how this guy, who clearly understands how to make a sexual joke, or a joke using a
non-politically correct joke.
Yet he is responsible for this abomination called Star Trek Discovery. I do not understand how that happens.
He's fake. He's fake.
Yeah, other than he's a sellout.
The people who truly believe this stuff, that these cultural causes are worth fighting for. And I'm not telling you they're not. I think there's a lot here to fight for. But you're backing the wrong people. These people don't believe the stuff that you're falling for. They're tricking you.
Yeah, because what they're really doing is they're manipulating people. They're selling them something that they don't believe in themselves. Isn't that what you call a false prophet?
Yeah.
Or
a grifter.
Yeah, definitely a grifter. Yeah, so I just, it bothers me a great deal. It's like people, when you defend Alex Kurtzman, you are so backing the wrong horse. Just, you don't even understand how bad that is. Maybe if you watched a couple episodes of Jack of All Trades, you'd know what I was talking about.
Yeah, it gets so frustrating. We haven't even gone into, and we probably don't want to do this today, but Star Trek Picard, the next series that he did. That show has so many problems. They destroyed the Picard character in a Luke Skywalker way. I don't know how you recover from it. I don't know what's going on in Patrick Stewart's head to think this is acceptable material. To just do this briefly, the character Rafi, who is a person of color, they depicted her as some druggy, alcoholic. I could be mean here, but they made this person like...
They made her look like trash.
Yes. In a racist stereotype.
Yeah, she's living in a trailer out in the desert. That kind of... Well, she's doing drugs.
Like sucking on a crack pipe or something.
How do you people not see what's right in front of your face? It's a horrible thing they're doing.
We've got this new series coming up shortly, The Strange New Worlds, with Anson Mount and Ethan Peck, and Rebecca Stamos.
Romaine. It's Romaine. Rebecca Romaine.
All three of those actors, I think I could get behind. But as far as I know, it's the same writing people. I'm not expecting anything different. I'm expecting horrible sexism and phobias, and I'm just expecting some horrible crap coming from them because their other shows have. I'm not blaming the actors at all. I'm blaming the people behind the shows.
Yeah.
They don't believe this stuff.
No, they don't.
Not only do they not like Star Trek, these causes of fighting for groups that have been persecuted and where society's now trying to enlighten and lift these people back up. These people behind the show don't believe in that stuff.
No, and
they're
what
pandering,
they're doing,
and that's the best you're getting.
Well, yeah, and even in that pandering, what they're doing is portraying horrible, negative stereotypes.
Yeah, that's how you know they don't care about it.
Yeah.
Because why would they portray these people like that if they did care about it?
Well, yeah, because, I sit there and I'm watching this stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, are these writers actually sitting there thinking to themselves, watch this, watch how far I can push this, writing this horrible thing, and people aren't going to call me on it. In fact, they're going to like it. It reminds me of that South Park episode where Eric Cartman pretended to have Tourette syndrome.
Yeah.
And he was talking to Kyle, and he said that he was going to blast the Jews, and people were going to praise him for it.
This Saturday, I will actually say anything I want on national television. I'm going to blast the Jews, Kyle. I'm going to call them every name in the book, and people will call it brilliant television. They'll probably give me an Emmy.
That's exactly what this reminds me of.
Yeah. And people are doing that.
Yeah, that's, I don't understand how people can defend this stuff. It's like, don't you see what's right in front of your face?
Well, being outside of the young generation, and I want to believe in the goodness of people. I'm trying to believe that these people, they believe in these causes, the causes of social justice type activity.
Mm-hmm.
They believe in these things so strongly that they're willing to embrace anything that parrots the same type of superficial. I mean, not that social justice is superficial, but people, these snake oil salesmen,
Yeah.
they're peddling the bare minimum to get you to think they're on your side with these social justice causes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not. And I think the reason that these people are defending this crap, I really do hope, is that they're just such believers in the social justice cause that they're being blinded by all this bright light pandering that these people are doing and not realizing, well, what are we actually being fed here?
Well, I think it's Demolition Man. Because I'll just say this. I'll just out myself here.
I mean the movie Demolition Man?
Yes, the movie. I'm among the youngest of the Gen Xers, the oldest of the millennials. That's where my birthday falls. So, I mean, I can remember a lot of things. I've seen a lot of stuff. Just what the Zoomers seem to be going through, at least from where I'm sitting. It just appears like Demolition Man, where you have these very naive, decent people who have no experience of the kind of violence that, well, Sylvester Stallone's character was trying to fight against, but he was using violence to fight it. You know, they were just innocents. They were innocent people. They had no defenses against that kind of stuff because they hadn't experienced it before. I think that a lot of these people in the youngest generation coming up, they haven't seen the kind of bullshit that we've seen. Yeah, because I'm sitting here with the old man who's probably about a decade older than I am. So it's hard for us to look at these young people and be like, come on, wake up, wake up, wake up, and just sit back and be like, oh, well, they'll get it eventually. You know, well, eventually might be too late. And clearly nobody clued you guys in as to what to look for, what a charlatan looks like. And so we're here to tell you, these people are selling you a bill of goods. They're liars, and
that doesn't mean that you have to give up the cause that you believe in.
No.
You can keep that cause.
Exactly, but stop following false prophets, because they're just going to lead you down a bad path that doesn't lead anywhere good.
What brings you to Palau, Your Highness?
I need a screw.